Who remembers playing Pokemon for the first time and absolutely destroying every trainer and gym leader they ever faced? I know I do. And with Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green coming onto the Switch, I thought it was the perfect time to play these games like a kid again, as these were the first Pokemon games I've ever beaten. And it was really fun, facing gym leaders with one Pokemon, only using attacking moves, and refusing to use Flash in this one cave. I'm not sure if my experience was really different from most people, but I still had a lot of fun, and let me show you how I did it. For my starter, I always went for Squirtle, as I used to play by this little stream near my house, and I would see turtles from time to time, so I just ended up really liking them. So choosing the turtle was a no-brainer. It's even cooler as it turned into a Blastoise and had cannons on his back, and being able to use Hydro Cannon made the move look so real. I could only imagine how insane that looked in real life. The next Pokemon I catch is Pidgey, and for this one, I'll just talk about all the flying types because I hate most of them. When I was 6, I played Gold for the first time, and most of my team were flying types, so when I saw Spearow evolve for the first time and it turned into that, I couldn't believe it. It looked worse in battle. What even is that? For Zubat, it kept dying on me, so I thought it sucked, and when I got Farfetch'd to level 40 and it didn't evolve, I was pretty butthurt. For Doduo, it freaked me out, and I was not training a level 5 Aerodactyl when I was at the 7th gym. It was just not happening. I'm pretty sure in this point in the game, I was tired of training and I was just not going to train something else. So yeah, nothing crazy, just wasn't a fan. And well, Pidgey was like the only Pokemon that didn't do me wrong besides only having Wing Attack, which is crazy if you ask me, but I still needed a Pokemon to use Fly, so that's where he came in. I also never named my Pokemon because I thought they all had cool names, and I mean, I could never come up with those names myself, so why change them? On my way to Pewter City, I faced every trainer and Pokemon I came across, as that was the easiest way to train without thinking it was training, so I do that a lot throughout the game. I just won't talk about it too much. When it comes to my Pokemon being overleveled, it definitely depends where I'm at in the game. So in the early game, I'm just trying to get all my Pokemon around the same level. So it isn't until maybe the 3rd gym where my Pokemon start to be high leveled, but that never stopped me from having a good time. Because once I reached the gym and faced Brock, I used Bubble and Water Gun to win the fight. I walked in the gym at level 10 and walked out level 14. On Route 3, I catch another member being Nidoran, and the reason why I used one was out of luck. I just remember going through the grass for the first time and seeing a purple looking dog and being like, oh yeah, I'm using you. And it was even cooler to find out that it could fully evolve when I picked up a random stone and wondered what it did. I always find this Pokemon so interesting because this was the first time I picked a Pokemon and imagined myself in the Pokemon world and thought, if I had a Nidoking, what moves would it have? So I never taught it Fire Blast or Thunder. It would have Brick Break and Dig. Moving on to Mount Moon, Squirtle evolved into Wartortle and Nidoran evolved into a Nidorino. I also pick up a Dome Fossil, and I always liked the idea of using a Kabutops but never wanted to trade one, but I grab it anyway just in case I change my mind. I never changed my mind. In Cerulean City, we fight Blue, and the only problem we had was when Pidgey got put to sleep and couldn't wake up, but I just switched into Nidorino and it was a wrap from there. Blue didn't stand a chance. After that, I do the Nugget Bridge and Pidgey evolved into Pidgeotto. I also lose a couple times to get some nuggets. Now, I didn't know that as a kid, but if I did, I definitely would have done it. And that was like part of the reason why I faced every trainer I came across so I could just get the TM Thunderbolt faster. But this just sped it up. With that done, I decided I wanted to face Misty, only using Wartortle. So for Staryu, I spam Bite as it was the best move I could use. And it took some time because they kept healing. But once she goes down, Starmie is next and they go first using Swift doing a decent amount of damage while we use Bite doing about half. Next turn, we use the same moves and they live with 1 HP. I thought it was over since they're faster and use Swift, but then we live on 1 HP and land another Bite to win the fight. That was crazy. I didn't think he was gonna live that. After healing up, I help out Bill, and in return, he gives us a ticket to the SS Anne. And on my way there, I pick up the TM Dig and Brick Break for Nidorino, but I actually don't teach Brick Break until later. I do evolve him though, and I didn't realize how crazy he looks. I should have named him Bobby. He looks like he hurts people. And if you didn't get that, it's a reference to a wrestler. In any case, we fight Blue again, and nothing was more satisfying than using Thrash to take out most of his Pokemon. I felt so bad, I switched into Pidgeotto so I didn't hurt his feelings too much. Once we got the HM for cut, I head straight to the gym, and using Nidoking, I used Dig to take out Voltorb and Pikachu. I wanted to do the same thing with Raichu, but they used double team and we just could not land a hit. So I used Thrash and then we were able to take him out. Nothing like beating a gym leader in 2 minutes. Around 9 we can rematch some trainers that give out some really good XP. So I stayed there for a while and I didn't talk too much about it, but training was a big part of Pokemon for me, and I would grind for hours just because I wanted to knock everything out in one shot. I probably spent more time training than actually playing the game. I went from level 25 to 35. After that, I head to Rock Tunnel, and I remember going through this for the first time. I was so lost but refused to use Flash or Repels, so I was in there brute forcing my way through, fighting trainers and Pokemon, regretting my life choices. Those were good times. Looking back at it now, I was crazy. I can't believe I didn't use repels at all. Not even in caves. Yeah, I can't do that no more. I'm sorry. I gotta have repels for at least the caves. I will say it did take me a couple tries to get out of here as I just kept fighting myself in the entrance. And before I actually left, I ran into this guy who teaches Rock Slide. And I didn't know about this as a kid, but if I did, I would have used it, so I'm using it. From here, I face a bunch of trainers that evolve Wartortle into Blastoise. And now that I made it to Celadon City, I can finally get the last member to the team, Eevee. I plan to evolve it after we learn Bite, but for now, I want to face Erica, so with Pidgeotto, we spam Wing Attack to knock out all her Pokemon. It did take me a bit longer than I thought, as Wing Attack wasn't one-shotting, but I guess that's what I get for hating everything else. Now that we beat the gym, I head to the department store to pick up a Thunderstone, and head to the underground hideout to do all the Team Rocket stuff, which was a perfect place to train Eevee. So once he learns Bite, I evolve him into Jolteon and then spend all my money getting Thunderbolt. It was the perfect plan. The reason why I used Jolteon was because I like electric types, and if I want to use one and had to choose between a ball and a magnet, I want the spiky dog. Plus he looks cool, and who doesn't want a cool Pokemon? With that, we have all the Pokemon I'll be using for this playthrough, and I see a lot of people have one Pokemon throughout the whole game, or maybe 6, but to me, I always felt like 4 Pokemon was enough. But yeah, going back to the underground hideout, I beat up Giovanni in blue, and here's a little montage. Yeah, that was fun. Once we do the stuff at the Pokemon Tower, we get the flute to make this Snorlax move out the way and immediately run from the battle as I didn't care for it. With that, there's a bunch of trainers to face here, and somehow I still end up being underleveled for Koga, which is crazy to me, but before we actually face them, I head to the Safari Zone to pick up 2 HMs, as you need them to move around the map, so I grabbed those in one attempt, and I don't know about you, but to me, that was a flex. I hated going to the Safari Zone, so if I could just get everything in one go, it was perfect. The reason why I hated it was more because I just didn't take my time going through the Safari Zone. I just didn't like how there was a time limit to how many steps you could be in there for, so yeah, I guess I was just being a hater, to be honest. Going back to HMs, I didn't think the HM Slave was that necessary for Gen 1, so I would just teach Surf to Blastoise, Fly to Pidgeot, and Strength to Nidoking, and that's all you really need. And out of all those moves, the only move I don't like is Strength, just because it just doesn't feel like it does as much damage as it says it does. But I don't know, maybe that's just me. With not much else to do, I face Koga, and honestly, it's that muck. It doesn't matter what I'm doing, I'm always gonna have trouble fighting it. Once he uses Minimize, everything went downhill as we missed 3 Surfs in a row while Sludge is slowly taking us out. After that, we managed to land a Surf, but they live with red HP and use another Sludge that poisons this time. So I switched into Nidoking and tried to use Dig, but they just kept spamming Minimize, so I gave up and I sent out Jolteon and used Thunderbolt, and that finally got rid of it. It makes me wonder if I should have done that sooner. But yeah, everything went smoothly after that. From here, I decided to train my Pokemon a little bit and get them up to level 45 when I remembered I had to do the Silph Co stuff. And that was really fun too because I squashed everyone in sight, including Blue and Giovanni again. Here's another montage. With all that taken care of, I went straight to the gym and faced Sabrina with my level 50 Blastoise, and I just used Bite to one-shot Kadabra and Alakazam while it took a bit longer to knock out Mr. Mime as they kept healing. After that, I used Blizzard on Venomoth, but unfortunately it didn't kill, so we used Bite to finish them off. They say Sabrina is harder than Koga, but I disagree. Which reminds me, I had went to Cinnabar Island because I totally forgot about the Silph Co stuff. So that's where I got Blizzard and taught it to Blastoise, and I know you can find it at the department store. I just didn't think about it until I just had it in my bag. And if there's one thing I learned from my video of exploring Kanto for the first time, which you should check out by the way, link in the description, is that if the move's accuracy is 80%, it might as well be 100 because it never misses, just like my other videos. If you've been liking this video so far, subscribe as it really helps out the channel. Okay, no more shameless plugs. I head to the next gym where instead of doing the quizzes to skip all the trainers, I face every trainer before we face Blaine, just so that I could spam Surf all over again and beat him up in 30 seconds. Once we leave the gym, we meet Bill again and he asks us if we want to head to the Sevi Islands, and I say yes for this one specific reason. So as we're doing the side quest for Bill, we get Hydro Cannon and now my Blastoise is complete. At some point in the story, this little girl gets lost in a forest because of a hypno, so we beat it up, and I actually remember playing a creepypasta on this side quest, and I think it freaked me out so much I never played another creepypasta again, and hypno just made my hate list. Once we take her back home, we finish the side mission and head back to one island to train a little bit and get everyone to level 50 before heading to the last gym and face every trainer there, as I could never walk away from all this free XP. Anyways, let's face Giovanni one last time, and with my level 56 Blastoise, we one-shot everything. Rhyhorn and Dugtrio get hit with Surf, Nidoqueen and Nidoking get hit with Blizzard, and his last Rhyhorn gets hit with Hydro Cannon, not missing one shot. I don't have any face recordings, but I was losing my mind. With that, I train one last time and get everyone to level 55 before giving up, and it's crazy how some things don't change, as I remember training to level 55 as a kid and being burnt out as well. So let's face our first Elite Four member, Lorelei, and with Jolteon we spammed Thunder and Thunderbolt and it was amazing. We landed every Thunder, and the only time we didn't land it was because Cloyster used Protect. For Lapras and Jinx, they were a bit bulky, so I had to use a couple Thunderbolts to knock them out. Next is Bruno, and I use Hydro Cannon to take out Onix. After that, I switch into Pidgeot while he sends out the rest of his flying types, and this was hilarious as they kept trying to use Rock Tomb, but they missed every time. So we just spam Wing Attack to take out Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan, and Machamp. With his last Pokemon being another Onix, I send out Blastoise and use another Hydro Cannon to take him out, not missing one shot. Next is Agatha, and with Jolteon we use Bite while they use Double Team, and of course it goes downhill from here as we missed 3 times in a row before we were able to land another Bite to knock them out. From here we use Thunder to take out Golbat, Earthquake to one-shot Arbok, and spam Bite to take out Haunter and Gengar. And something I noticed is that I almost never struggle unless they use Double Team or something. With that, we faced the last Elite Four member, Lance, and we used Thunder to one-shot Gyarados. His next 2 Pokemon were Dragonair, but it was mostly the same as Thunderbolt got them to 1 HP, and they use a super strong move to do massive damage, and in the second fight, Jolteon goes down, so I switch into Pidgeot to finish them off. His next Pokemon was Aerodactyl, so I switch into Blastoise and use Hydro Cannon to knock them out. His last Pokemon is Dragonite, and I just use Blizzard to one-shot them. And I just find it so crazy that I have yet to miss. Like, Thunder's been landing every time. Blizzard's been landing. Hydro Cannon has been landing. It's absolutely insane. With that, we only have one more person to face, and that's our rival, the champion, Blue. And this is how it went. For Pidgeot and Rhyhorn, we were able to land a Thunder and Hydro Cannon to one-shot them. Once he sent out Venusaur, we had a bit of trouble as Wing Attack wasn't doing enough damage and they kept healing. So I switched to Fly, which did enough damage to stop them from healing again, so next turn we used another Wing Attack to finish them off. His next Pokemon is Alakazam, and we were hitting some nasty bites as we kept flinching them when it mattered the most, and we were able to knock them out after getting hit with a nasty Psychic. From here, we one-shot Gyarados, and we had a slight problem against Arcanine as Flamethrower did a lot of damage, while Earthquake wasn't able to one-shot them. So next turn we get knocked out with an extreme speed. Well, I wasn't expecting that, but it's okay. I sent out Blastoise and use Hydro Cannon one last time to finish them off, and you heard it from me, if the move's accuracy is 80%, it might as well be 100 because it don't miss. Thanks for watching, and until next time, see ya.